Well, first and foremost, how are you today?
I'm so blessed. Thank you so much for asking. How are you?
Welcome. Good to be alive. Grateful to be able to have a conversation with you. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Oh, I'm so flattered. This is amazing, of course.
Oh, well, thank you for that. Right off the top, what are some things that you can share with me that you're working on or that you've worked on that you're excited about?
Well, with acting, you do movies, you do film, and then you put it to bed. So there's like this anticipation to always want and need more. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I've done a lot of wonderful projects, and I feel very blessed to have been a part of those productions. But right now, I have been working silently for the past 3 years on my own production. It's
Nice.
um it's a limited series. It's going to be coming out soon. It's called Cyanide,
Okay.
and it's based on what happened in Guyana in 1979 when 909 lives went down to Guyana with Jim Jones,
Wow.
and they perished drinking purple Kool-Aid laced cyanide.
Mm.
And they all sacrificed. In the one amongst those people was my grandmother and my uncle and my aunt, my mom's mother, brother, and sister.
Sure.
And I always wondered what happened. How could they have went? And by the grace of God, my mom didn't go. She was spared by a dream
Okay.
to the nightmare. So dreams definitely are messages from the Lord, I believe, 100%.
Hmm.
She didn't go. So I found out what really happened with doing the research. And it's nothing that you have heard of. The truth has not been revealed yet. So I cannot wait to share with the world what really happened over there.
Mm.
And that it wasn't a mass suicide, it was a mass homicide. And it's so interesting. There's so many details to it. I'm very excited about it. So it's actually a dramatic fiction,
Sure.
and I fictionalize characters for dramatic purposes, but
Okay.
we're going to tell the truth about what happened. So
Okay.
I'm so
Wow.
excited to share that.
Wow. Oh, geez. How I would imagine of all the things that you've done that you've probably it's safe to say that you've connected with this particular project the most because of the fact that it actually came from you in terms of your bloodline, your family. It was
Absolutely.
okay.
Yes. And my grandmother, she was just a collective character, and she was just different, and she was misunderstood,
Hmm.
which was the key to cultivating this cult, was for misfits, people that felt like they weren't wanted or that they didn't have family and they wanted a place to belong in a community.
Hmm.
So they were big on communism. They were absolutely, let's do the communist thing. However, it was manipulated,
Okay.
and those people were victimized, and it was people of darker races. So it was a science experiment, if you may,
Mm.
on people of darker races, African American, Black people, us, our people
Sure.
were taken over there as an experiment. And it enrages me that people don't know about it. And I just cannot wait to unveil the truth. It
Mm.
reminds me a little bit of Narcos. I don't know if you've ever watched that,
Not
but just
super familiar. I'm sorry. I'm not super familiar, but I have heard of it.
mhm. Yeah, it's similar with just unveiling the truth about our government.
Okay.
So if
Mm.
that gives you some insight. And we as Black people have always been sought after because we're special, and we have something that they want to experiment on, and it's just been so quietly kept. And I think that's time for them to be exposed.
Yeah, I think it's
So
very appropriate too, with just a lot of the different things that have been coming out. I mean, that's been hidden for years, So, not only is knowledge is power, but the application of knowledge is power. And you were saying that it enrages you, but the cool thing about it is not only did it enrage you, but it also inspired and encouraged you to do something about it. So, I mean,
it
again,
fueled me
yeah,
for sure.
I'm
It
so
gave me
grateful.
a fuel,
Mhm.
and it gave me a direction. I didn't know, and during COVID, I just started doing research like everybody else. And then I was up like at 3 a.m. reading FBI files that people aren't aware of, but they're actually public, of people begging the government to help, what was happening, family, friends. And it just brought me to tears thinking about the fact that these people were hostages. It wasn't a harmonious living situation like they portrayed in the media. They were starving and beaten and forgotten about. It's like the forgotten souls. So I want to give my grandmother the legacy she deserves by telling the truth and
Sure.
and just enlightening all of us and doing a great production that'll bring a lot of food to a lot of families.
Okay, well,
Production.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations in advance. You're welcome. Would you say that, acting, of course, is the origin of it all in terms of that creative expression, but working on this particular project that you just shared with me, would you say that you feel a pull, or has there always been a pull to go into more writing, directing, producing?
As a kid, I always wrote, and I felt like I had a niche for it, but it wasn't my vehicle, like acting.
Mm-hmm.
So acting has definitely put in that passion to begin to write, because, there's no projects, and I've got to create my own harmony. I've got to create my own production.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't get on somebody else's production, I'm going to create my own. Everybody, has their own right to do so. So, but it has triggered something and engaged me with writing and brought out something that I didn't even know existed inside of myself.
Sure.
So.
Sure. When did you first get, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Nothing. I was clearing my throat.
Oh, okay. When did you first get bitten by the acting bug?
Oh, I was 4. Before I knew what love was, before I could understand what life meant, I loved acting as a baby. I remember I watched The Wizard of Oz on VHS. We had one VHS movie, and I had the chicken pox. I was 4 years old, and my mom was a single mom, so she had the neighbor across the street babysitting me, and she'd come and check on me. And I watched that movie over and over, and then I memorized every line, and it was over after that. I was spitting. I think that it chose me. I would say that. Acting chose me, I didn't choose it.
Okay, so it hit you at 4 years old. What was the first project that you worked on, aside of memorizing The Wizard of Oz, of course?
I was in the 4th grade, and I wanted to do a talent show. So I remember going to the principal and asking my teacher and the principal, can we do a talent show? And he said, well, you're gonna have to put it on. So I put on the entire production at 9 years old at the elementary school. It was Peter Burnett Elementary School. And I did my performance. I sang Mariah Carey, Always Be My Baby. And I had like background dancers. I don't know how I pulled that off, but that's when I started to just create my own lane, because there wasn't any opportunities in Sacramento where I was from. And nobody cared about acting. I was this sole soldier in this by myself. So I got people on board that would just listen to me. I was kind of bossy.
Way to be a pioneer.
Thank you. So that's really, I think that was my first thing. But like I said, we didn't have much money growing up. My mom didn't have time to put me in things. So my grandma would cut, little articles that she found out of the penny saver. And she would take me to these acting classes that were just, at an elementary school that the community was putting on, and anything I could get my hands on, even if it was just, putting on a show with my sister. And I got these Annie playbills for my birthday when I was like 10. And so I would, I was always doing it in my own way, even if it wasn't professional.
Okay. Now, would you say that your desire to sing also spawned from that performance in terms of You Will Always Be My Baby by Mariah Carey? Did that also ignite at the same time? Or actually, you said 4 years old with the acting. But when did the singing ignite, or was that the point when you sang that song?
Well, singing was always just fun to do, and I felt like I might be a little bit good at it. So my sister and I, we would sing and write our own songs. And so singing is something that I feel equally like. I love acting and I love singing. Whereas acting, you need other people, you need a production, you need, so I love that. But singing, I can sing in the shower, I can sing when I'm driving, I can sing in front of people. I couldn't live without either of them.
Oh, wow. So if I were to ask you which do you love the most, you couldn't prioritize or categorize?
It would be acting. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I got the itis, but singing is, like I said, it's something personal that I can do. And if my voice was taken away, that would be a big chunk of me gone. But if I had to choose, I'm always going to pick acting.
Okay. You mentioned your sister at least twice. Does she also work in performing, or did she go another direction? Just curious.
She went another direction. She went into mental health care,
Nice.
but
Okay.
she has just recently taken a voiceover class, and she sings beautifully.
Really?
Yeah, she sings beautifully.
Okay.
Not so much acting, but singing was our thing that we did growing
Okay.
up.
Okay. So is it safe to say that there's going to be a possible collaboration somewhere down the line as she continues to cultivate in terms of the industry aspect of it?
Oh, I hope so. I've been trying to get her out here for years.
What's the age difference between you guys?
3 years. She's 3 years old.
Okay. So you guys are still fairly close in age. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say, or who would you say are your top 3 favorite influencers as it relates to acting and performing?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so I got bad answers.
See what you got.
Okay, I'm guilty. I am guilty because I love the art and I love the craft. Johnny Depp, we're gonna forget the whole Amber Heard thing.
Yeah, no doubt. Sure. Yeah.
And he inspires me because he goes somewhere, and that's what I like to do. It's an escape for me, and doing emotional recall and tapping into all of these little things that actors can do that are brilliant. He does it. And so I love him. Of course, I love Halle Berry because she's a Black woman and she paved the way for so many huge roles. Like she played Catwoman, a Bond girl, Storm from X-Men, and I love character acting. So I love her. I think that she's done it marvelously. And there's too many. Angela Bassett.
Okay.
Angelina Jolie. I like the greats.
For sure. Yeah, you when you said character acting, I immediately went back to when you said Johnny Depp, because that dude is a beast with the character acting. I mean, even my first exposure was Edward Scissorhands,
Right.
And of course, that was a character all its own, to say nothing of the role he played in Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, everything that he does, dude. I don't know. I almost want to say I feel like he slept on to a degree in terms of how talented he is.
He's very eclectic.
For sure.
And I like that when you go into. I might still play the female Edward Scissorhands.
Oh wow!
Don't put me in white paint and see me act weird, because we're gonna collect some Oscars. We're gonna collect some awards.
Hey,
I would love to.
Let's go.
That's the fun stuff.
Yeah, it really is. I know it's always been my personal opinion and contention that once you memorize your lines, then that's when you can have fun. You can depending upon what the director wants, but that's when you can have fun. You can give your character an accent or give them a limp or whatever. But once you get that line memorization down, then that's kind of when the fun began, in my experience and opinion.
No, that's good. Once you get your lines down, then you can throw the script behind you. It's not physical anymore. Then you're diving in. Then you can go in. Sure. And then your character becomes, whoever it's supposed to be. You become something different. That's the fun part.
Agreed.
And sometimes within acting could black out. You're supposed to just black out, put yourself away and go into something different and without judgment. Because what Jeffrey Dahmer was doing, he didn't feel like it was wrong. So the actor that played Jeffrey Dahmer, the best actors are completely unjudgmental. He did it for the right reasons. And you have to be able to understand that. Sure. So that's where you can pull out the fire.
110%.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Who would you say are your top faves or your influencers as it relates to singing?
Well, singers are so much stuff. All the greats, unfortunately, singing. I loved Mariah Carey for sure.
Sure. Okay.
She's got some spunk to her. I think I love gospel music. So I still like Kirk Franklin and people, that have really moved me and made music that's helped me cope through different, periods of my life.
Of course.
Whether it be worship music or just music that inspires me. And Drake, I love Drake. I think it sounds crazy, but Drake inspired me enough to come to LA.
Really?
His music. It really did. And I was in like a low point and I would put on a Drake song and he would just inspire me to go for my dreams, being the same age as me.
Sure.
And just being iconic and creating his own genre. So
Sure.
I can't wait to meet him.
Okay.
I'm gonna see him. I'm gonna say, excuse me, Drake, come in. I need to talk to you. Let's talk about this.
That'll work. That'll work. I know it's I would imagine that would be, you know, he's probably, well, shoot, you probably heard it yourself in terms of how impactful you've been in the lives of others, and because of what you've done, or your perseverance, or the consistency that you've displayed in your singing, your acting, or just now you lived your life. So I would imagine that would be a compliment when you meet Drake, when you tell him that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I've been flattered by some people that have, sent me messages that my song Paved with Gold, it's helped a lot of people. And I wasn't aware that it was going to be so moving and helping people in a sad time. But I'm like, that's the gift. It's to give.
Absolutely.
I'm so honored when I hear that. But yes, thank you. When Drake meets me, hopefully he's like, okay, well now, I got you as a fan. I'm doing something right.
Notice that neither of us said if, we said when.
When, so, yes. Yes.
Yes, indeed. So you spoke about the project that's coming up that you working on and worked on, and how passionately you feel about it and how proud you are of it. Is it safe to say so far that has been the highlight of your career, or would you say something else has been, or what was it prior to that last project?
Oh, yeah, good question. I'd say that this project that I'm doing is going to change my life and my family's life.
Sure.
I believe it's going to change a lot of people's lives. So it's definitely going to be the biggest thing I've ever done.
Okay.
It's my own. Prior to that, I've done so many great things. I've done, Disney. That was fabulous, being a part of like the Disney characters. I played a cop in a movie called California Dream. And that one was so good because it was the stars of Disney France.
Okay.
And so they came over here to do it like a Coming to America movie, these stars. And the movie was in 2 languages. It was in French and it was in English. And I had to take direction in French because the whole cast was French. It was the most difficult movie I've ever done, but I learned so much because I didn't understand the language.
Sure.
So they would speak to me in French and I would respond in English. So I had to learn French while acting at the same time because they were making it compatible to both languages. So
Sure.
That one was cool. And then I booked a lot of comedies, and that shocked me when I first got here. I thought, drama, but they think I'm funny. So they put me comedy. I was like, okay, cool. And those are fun because you're laughing the whole time.
Sure. Yeah.
I was on one comedy and it was Ronnie from, what's the group? I feel bad. Mike, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike.
New Edition.
Yes. And I thought I was the only one in my dressing room. So I was going crazy on a monologue. And I walked past the dressing room. I saw a foot. So I pushed the door open and it was Ronnie. I said, did you hear me? And his eyes were closed. And he said, yeah, doing your little monologue. Yeah, I heard you. I was like, dang, so how come you got a lamp? He had a nice rug and a lamp and everything in his dressing room. But I mean, it's just also meeting the people.
Sure.
And collaborating on set. And I mean, I just have so many wonderful stories. I feel very blessed to be in this realm and still looking for something big. But so I think everything collectively has been wonderful. Okay. I can't pick one thing because everything has made me who I am today. For
sure. It's interesting because you spoke about comedy and how you've been casting comedies because they think you're funny. Something that caught my attention was you worked on the series Grown Folks, and it was like a lot of talented individuals and comedians on that particular project. So I wondered if that was going to be one that had come to mind as well, especially when you said that they had cast you in comedies.
Oh yeah, Grown Folks was fun. Grown Folks was a good time. There was a great cast. It was just, us all coming together and it's fun. It's like it's work, but it's not work. We can't believe we're getting paid to do something so fun, So Grown Folks was a good time. I had a fun character. I played the main character's niece.
Okay.
And I was getting engaged. and it was to a transgender,
Hmm.
but he didn't know it was a transgender. I know, this was the whole thing. I was reading the script. I said, what's going on? But hey, I could do anything, whatever you want me to do.
Sure.
And, so that was a very diverse episode, and I think it was the most diverse out of all the seasons. Yeah, for sure. And the main character, he's funny. His name is Gary G. Thang.
Okay.
And he was a riot. I wish they would have had more seasons of that. If it would have been continued, but it got canceled. But yeah, that was fun too.
Okay. In terms of your music, what has been the highlight of that avenue of your, so far?
My song that I wrote, Hands in the Air, that one, I believe still it's going to explode because the message behind it, it was a lot of, even right now with what's happening in Israel, the lyrics are, hands in the air, don't shoot me down, 'cause I can't get up off the ground. And it relates to so many different people. Like there was shootings, there was a boy that died in Sacramento, and by police brutality, and they played that song, and my parents were telling, they own a barbecue restaurant in Sacramento, and they have a lot of people that are on the radio, and so they really pushed that song. And I think that it's a healing song, and I can't wait to see what the world does with it. It's like a timeless song, and that, to me, I think that's the most special song. And I made that in North Hollywood. I was with a bunch of musicians. We're all just sitting there. Nobody knows what to do. Everybody's broke. We got guitars and pianos though, and we have each other. And so we would just sit there and we just made this song together with a bassist that was there. And he was like, dun, 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 dun. I was like, ooh, I like that. Okay, do that. Keep doing that. And then that song came, but that one to me has yet to explode. Watch, Kendrick. That one's gonna go crazy at some point. Even if it's in my show Cyanide, but once it gets picked up because of the message and what's happening in our world, just as we move it, it could really be, it's like a come together anthem for sure.
Okay. Say in the same sense as we are the world, we are the children, possibly.
Kind of, if we could get there. We just, we don't have Michael, but we'll get there.
Andrea, everything starts small, though. Even your career in terms of with the acting started with The Wizard of Oz, so if everything starts small, a seed eventually grows into a tree. An army starts with one. I mean, hey.
These things are true. These things are true. I believe it. Yes. And you could only hope, I did meet Quincy Jones, and he was the nicest guy ever.
You've been around forever, jeez. I said Q been around forever. Wow, jeez.
Oh yeah, he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet, and he's so down to earth. Okay. He was in a suit with some high top Jordans, and I was like, "What up, Q?" He said, "What up, girl?" So cool.
Yeah, that's always good to hear. I mean, at the end of the day, I have a saying, and that's people are people, and no matter what their position is, people are people. Some people, when they get to a certain point, make modification to their personality for the good, and some otherwise. But people are people, and pride and all that other stuff has the potential to come to play with any and everybody. So it's always good to hear about positive experiences, with people that are on a certain level. So it's real cool that you have said that about Q in terms of his personality, so.
Oh yeah. To me, it's the greats are the kindest, and they need like a security detail around them because they're so kind.
Sure. People
that are the gatekeepers or that have kind of made it, they're the ones that have this arrogance, at least that I've met. They're the ones that are arrogant, and they haven't fully arrived, but they don't want anybody else to come in. But the ones that have made it, the nicest ones, like Quincy Jones, I had a long conversation with him, And he actually gave me his business card. And he was like,
Nice.
call me. I still have the card. And I was one of the only ones. I don't think I didn't see him give it to anybody else.
Okay.
I was just persistent, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just chill. If you're chilling, I'm chilling. We're gonna chill.
Right.
You know, I wasn't worshiping him. You know, I didn't people on the floor that were like worshiping him, but those ones are the ones that they see somebody and they don't mind letting them in. They don't mind giving them a chance.
Sure.
That's why they have such a crazy detail around them, because they're so nice and everybody will, you know, kind of work their game with them.
Right, try to take advantage.
Yeah, they'll take advantage. Or I saw Susan Sarandon, she's walking up the beach and she just had her dog and she was just walking. She was so sweet. I didn't even bother her. I'm like, you know, she's nice and she's brilliant. So
Susan been around. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm you talk. I don't mind. You got to cut me off sometimes.
Oh no, don't make me do that now. No, I was just agreeing with you with Susan Sarandon. Yeah, she's a Titan as well. Been around for a number of years and still doing her thing.
And she's so humble. Like I said, she didn't even have a security guard with her, and I just admired that. And nobody really messed with her. I didn't even know if people recognized her.
Nice.
But she was just walking her dog up Santa Monica Beach, just like, Susan Sarandon, excuse me. Just an icon for sure. Great actress.
You spoke on writing as it relates to creation amongst like film and that. Do you write all of your own music, or do you so you don't have any help with any of writing then?
Not necessarily, no. All my music, well, when I first got here to LA, I missed my family and I was really, really lonely. So I would take a pen and a pad and I would go to the ocean, Dockweiler Beach, where there's not a lot of people, and sit there. And that's where I wrote all my songs. All my music is written in God's landscape. I feel like that's where I get most inspiration, clear-headed.
Sure.
And it's really difficult to write music. You know, songs are just, it's such a hit or miss, you know, but that's my inspiration, just being there and not feeling as lonely when I would write music, and then I can sing and I could cry or whatever it may be. Sure. And I wasn't judged, you know, because I'm in a clear space. And so yeah, that's where my writing really developed for music.
Okay, interesting. You know, I meant to say something earlier when you were talking about when you met Q and you were the only person that you seen him give a card to. You know, that favor thing, you know, favor ain't fair. You know, favor and God make things happen, see, you know.
I pray for favor.
Yeah, and
clearly, wisdom.
Yep, and clearly you have both, you know. Like you said, you the only person you recall him passing the card over to, so, I mean, that's how it works, you know.
My friend was like, baby! I said, shh, be quiet, keep it down.
So you just as cool, you just took it, yeah, man, like it wasn't nothing. You know?
Normal. Yeah, this is every day. What do you mean? Exactly.
Oh man. How would you say that? How has your career or the trajectory of your career changed since becoming having representation by Peter, what is it, Calater, I'm gonna mispronounce
Peter Calanteris.
Thank
you.
Agency. How has that affected you in your career so far?
Well, it's such a professional agency. I haven't been with an agency like this, and they're actually located at Gower Studios. So going there, you just feel it's real, because they shoot huge television shows on this exact lot where my agency was, and it has. I mean, I booked a job going to New York. I'd never been to New York before signing with them, and he's top tier. I'm really, really close to booking Young and the Restless, and
really.
Yeah, I mean, I've auditioned for them so many. I'm like, come on, put me on the show. You know me, you know, because it's the same casting director. So he's calling me in like 6 times. I'm like, come on, give baby some work.
Okay.
I need the job. But I believe I will execute this with Peter, because one of his top talents is one of the leads in that show. So I'm just warming the kettle still. Okay. We just got work. We just signed, and you know, now that there's this strike going on, I think Peter is probably in the Bahamas somewhere, enjoying his life. You know, like all the other top tier agents are doing, but I'm very, very grateful. I'm so excited to see what we do.
Okay. How so did you, I'm sorry, what were we going to say?
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, I was going to ask, how did you get connected to that particular agency? Is that something that you sought out, or representation from the agency sought you out, or how did that work out?
Actually, a friend of mine, I didn't have representation for a while, and it bothered me, you know, but everything out here is who you know. I know that it sounds cliche. It is absolutely 100% the truth.
I believe it.
So you got to know somebody. Even to get signed with a big agency, you can't get a meeting with them unless you're referred by, like, you know, Brad Pitt or Forrest Whitaker. I mean, you have to have a big referral. So a friend of mine, I told him I don't have an agent. He said he's Snoop Dogg's brother, actually, and he's a businessman, but he's like an LA Crip, right? Like, they're all these Crips, and the Crips love me, and they're all in the entertainment industry. Like, I met they're all cool, you know. But he said, I'm going to take you to the agency, and we're going to get you signed. And I said, okay, let's do it. So we go on to Gower Studios. I met up with him, and he's crazy. So he's like smoking a blunt as we're pulling up on the studios, and all he has to drop is Snoop Dogg's brother. And it's like, oh, they look like they just lifted the gate for us. I'm like, is there no rules? Wow. So we're on the studio. He parks in the handicap, gets out smoking a blunt. And I'm just like dressed up, ready to meet this agent, right? On my best behavior, kind of nervous.
Right.
Walked right in there, and he almost kicked the door open. And I'm telling you, it was like we needed like security detail. We need badges to even be on the lot.
Right.
So we get our badges. We walk in there, and Peter was sitting there, and he looked shocked. Like he looked pleasantly surprised. I mean, he knew we were coming.
Okay.
But he didn't know who my friend was bringing.
Sure.
So he said, here, read this. And he gave me like a paper, you know. And he said, go outside. I read like for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, so go perform it. So I went in and I did it. And he says, okay. And he grabbed the paperwork and he signed me. And then he looked at my friend. He said, I'm so pleasantly surprised. I thought you were going to bring in some hoochie mom. I was like, that's messed up. And my friend was like, man, that's messed up. Who kind of don't, you know, who do you think I am? But it's like, come on, you know, he's a colorful character. I'm grateful to him, and I'm grateful to Peter. He just signed me right there on the spot. So that's how it happened. Really, it's who you know. And I backed it up with the talent. So the talent is, you need it, but it's like your secret weapon that you pull out after you get in the door, after you get past the gatekeepers. And then you put the icing on the cake, and you're like, I'm really good too. And I'm like, oh, okay. Wow. So that's really how it all panned out.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Interesting, right? Thank you.
For sure. How so that you, I'm looking, is that blue in your shirt?
Blue?
Are those blue stripes?
Yes.
Okay, so that goes back to what you said about the blue and the Crips.
I mean,
you're like, they love me. You got on.
Right. When I was talking to Snoop, they said, throw this up. So I'm like, what do I throw up? They like, do the bunny ears. I'm like, just like this? I guess this is Dog Pound Gangster Crip. And I didn't like, so anytime I see a Crip, I'll just like throw this up. I'm totally not a gangbang. I'm a nerd.
Right.
But it's like, cool. They got that cool dance, and they got their hooks in the entertainment industry out here. I'm telling you.
Wow.
Both of them. I mean, even like Chris Brown is a blood or something, I guess. So
I'm trying now. I can't. Forgive me if you said it and I may have overlooked it. I apologize in advance if I did. But how did you get connected with Snoop's brother? What is his name?
His name is Buck, and I met him I went to a Nickelodeon award show.
Sure.
Or it was like a red carpet. So
okay. Sure.
That's how it's just like how I meet all my friends. Majority of people is at parties. I've met a lot of people at parties.
Sure.
It's just the business. So it's just as important as being on a TV show, going out to these events.
Okay.
So you can network with people. And so that's how I met a lot of people.
Okay. Now, I made an observation about you because we're also friends on Facebook. Mm-hmm. You one of your trademarks that you have that I notice is your smile.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. In my opinion, that's an Andrea trademark is your smile. Now, would you say that your smile coupled with your humility and with your personality, are those the things in the favor of God, of course? Would you say that all of those things are what draw people to you and as bless you to make the connections that you have, because you're right about that in terms of, I mean, of course I can't speak on it from a Hollywood standpoint, but I can speak on it in terms of my own life, how knowing certain people or connecting with certain people has been a blessing to opportunities. So would you say some of the things that I mentioned are what made it happen for you thus far?
Well, thank you so much for the compliment. That was very flattering and caught me off guard.
You're welcome.
You know what? It's interesting. When I run on the beach, I always make a point to do a big goofy smile at people that are running past just to see if they smile back.
Okay.
Because you can't help it when somebody's smiling and doing a crazy one. So I guess in my own way, I do utilize my personality, whether if it's smiling or laughing, to connect with people. Yeah. And I'll go up to people. I don't mind. It's like I have to. Like, have you seen the show Snowfall?
I have not. Tell me about it, please.
There's one main character on Snowfall. His name is Leon. He's Franklin Saint's best friend.
Okay.
And it's one of my favorite shows. I love Snowfall. I watched every episode of it. It's great. You should watch it. But I was at a party and I saw the character. His name is Isaiah something, and he plays Leon.
Okay.
And I saw him and I said, Leon! And he looked over and I said, hold on. And I walked up to him and I said, what happened that last episode? Did you get back with that girl? Were you with the baby mama? You guys had a baby? He's like, nah. It was a montage. I said, so it didn't really happen? He said, no. I was like, I said, dang. I said, how are you tonight? And then we ended up kicking it the whole night. That's just the way it happened. He needed to answer my question. So I like to engage with people and be myself. And I'm not shy. I get nervous like everybody else, but I don't let opportunities slip past. So if there's somebody I want to talk to, I'm going to go talk to them and introduce myself. And, I like to start conversations. I love people. Sure. I'm so organically just drawn to loving human beings. So, hopefully that helps me and that'll work me through this business a little bit better.
But I believe it's definitely been a blessing, especially nowadays, Andrea, in terms of just the art of communication has become a lost art with the advent of social media and people sending inboxes and typing as opposed to actually having a conversation. So people like yourself that can have a conversation, that can be personable, that can be respectful, that can be witty, that can be charming, all of these things, entertaining, it makes you a standout. Excuse me. And I believe it's a combination of how the things that were put into you as you were raised, but also again combined with your personality. Whereas these youngsters nowadays, and that's not to say they were old, but people that are younger than us, they came up in a different time where the kind of communication that you are skilled at and able to bring forth, or even the kind that I can, again, is becoming a lost art, and it's the weapons in the arsenal for you, again, coupled with your personality, lights, camera, action, showtime.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a texting queen.
Okay.
I prefer to verbally communicate. First of all, it's faster. And then there's no misinterpretation.
That's true.
Tone.
That's true. You're right.
So I like to talk and I love, just being in person for sure. And I think that the younger generation has been just discombobulated by social media and the fakeness of reality.
Yes.
And the portrayal of something that you're not. And it's kind of a scapegoat from really being accountable for who you really are, what you really look like, what you're good at, because you can post anything and make this fake facade. And I think that's why I'm not that good with social media.
Okay.
I can't wait to really just do movies, do what I'm supposed to do my TV shows, interviews, whatever, and then have somebody else do it for me.
Sure.
Because there's so much stuff that I could do that's more beneficial than superficial.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Look at me. And so I don't do, naked pictures and all that. It's not necessary. I'm going to get $1 million when we're going to do that in a film, baby. And we're going to be standing next to Denzel and Johnny Depp.
There you go.
I need to save the good.
Say it.
You know, and I'm like, we could do it. We could do the whole thing. As a professional actress, I don't mind, but we're gonna have to get the bag first.
Right.
Has to be for a reason, not just for lights.
Right.
It's not good enough for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's hey, like I said, lights, camera, action, showtime. That's the way to do it. Like you say, get the bag, get paid with purpose, you know,
right.
And legacy.
Right. And then you want that tasteful classiness. If you don't see Halle Berry half naked on her Instagram, she doesn't have to do that.
Right.
She did that in Monsters Ball and collected an Oscar.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. There's just there's a way to do it. And
sure.
I want my career to be kind of old school. I am, you know, I like going in those rooms with my headshot and doing things the old school Hollywood way. And I think that I can be the last of a dying breed. And I want people to know that you can do this the right way. You don't have to do this by selling yourself short or by wanting to be a Kardashian. They don't have talent. I couldn't imagine being one of them.
Sure.
I would hate that, you know, not being able to open my mouth and have something pretty come out, or to be able to act in a film, and it's not just because, you know, I have 54 million followers. It's because I'm the one that people are like, oh, I can't wait to watch this movie because she's in it and she's gonna make me cry. It's about to go down, you know?
Yeah.
That part.
110%. Andrea, what is a word of encouragement or advice that you would share with someone that's going through a tough time? And I know tough times are relative, but as a whole, what is some advice or encouragement you'd share?
We all go through tough times, and there's that spirit of depression. So my best advice would be stay close to the Lord, because the Lord will connect you with a happiness and a peace and a comfort that you cannot get from anybody else or anything else. So do that, and also to keep yourself busy. Even if you don't feel like it, get up and get outside. Go walk around, go feel the wind, you know, put yourself in positions to where you're not sitting by yourself alone and feeling defeated, because this business can eat you up. So you have to just stay active and just remember to pray for these specific things that we forget to pray for. Faith. We seldomly pray for hope, because hope is necessary, and the love, and it comes together and it works. I've been in some really bad, just depressing times. It's like, what am I gonna do? Okay, get up, put some clothes on, go run, and then find other things that you like to do. So just stay busy, even if it's gonna go, you know, going to get a smoothie or go to karaoke, but just not to sit and wallow, because we get stuck in our own crap.
True.
And we can't pull ourselves out of the mud all the time.
True.
So,
True.
You know, and then to have people around you that love you. Yeah. That's important. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, we need somebody to say, I love you.
For sure. Yeah. People that are genuine, and they say that and they mean it, actually, you know.
And they mean it. And that's usually the people from back home, because here we're in the lion's pit. We're all ready to rip each other's heads off. I will steal your part if you
Dog eat.
Don't look the other way, because you got a lion like me. I'm the bullet on set.
Andrea, what is a word of encouragement or advice that you wish someone had shared with you when you went through a tough time?
Oh, not to give up. I mean, I don't give up, but I don't have a lot of people telling me, don't give up. You know, and that's key. Even if you feel like it's over, it's not. Tomorrow's a new day, and they're always looking for somebody new. The world needs new. People don't know that. They think, oh, there's so many famous people. It's just not true. They need new people constantly. So to know that you're special and unique and you're perfectly ordained and nobody has your fingerprint. So just to keep going, don't quit. I'm still telling myself this right now.
Hey, one day at a time, you know. Well, Andrea, I appreciate you again. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to have a conversation with me. You have been wonderful. Looking forward to the good stuff coming from you, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. There is so much good stuff coming. I'm not gonna quit. You're just getting a little taste. We're gonna shake things up out here.
Sounds good. I'll definitely be watching. Thank you again so much. You take care, okay?
Thank you so much. God bless you, Kendrick.
God bless you too. Thank you, Andrea.
Okay.